Well, South Africa's energy crisis is expected to be top of the agenda when President Cyril Ramaphosa delivers his State of the Nation address this week. The country has seen unprecedented levels of load shedding since last year, plunging the economy, businesses and the agricultural sector in particular in treacherous waters. Millions of citizens who cannot afford alternative energy sources like solar, generators or inverters are also at the mercy of the erratic power supply. Now, let's discuss what else is likely to feature in the President's address. We're now joined via Zoom by political analyst Dr Metji Makgoba. Doctor, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So the President is expected, as we said, to deal with the energy crisis as a matter of urgency when he addresses the nation on Thursday. If you were listening to his speech, to investors earlier at the Mining Indaba, Ramaphosa saying that the country will continue to implement the 6-month-old national energy plan. Will this be enough, to inspire confidence to South Africans? And what else are we likely to hear?
I think the energy crisis has affected the ANC in a very bad way. I don't think he's able to come up with any solution. Even if this thing is top of the agenda, I do not think that Ramaphosa and his team have the capacity to deal with the energy crisis, because if there was any strategy in place, this thing should have been resolved long time ago. Because if you check, energy is the center of the economic development. And if Ramaphosa doesn't see that this is urgent and there is any plan in place except for load shedding, it shows that they've failed. And even though he's going to come up some rhetoric to couch it around that they are busy doing something, but South Africans can see, with the collapse of many small businesses, we can see that the energy crisis has affected the ANC and they don't have any solution to resolve it. And the issue of load shedding is just the outcome of the failures of energy policies in South Africa. There's a lot of policy incoherencies in the energy and mining sector. And because of that, the state is unable to respond to the crisis that is caused by energy. And if we don't deal with the fundamental issues that revolves around production of coals and the production of energy itself, load shedding is still going to be a problem. Because what we have seen in the past few months, we have been seeing a reactive strategy. There's never been an attempt by the government to go to the root cause of the problems. And what many South Africans are suspecting is that actually load shedding is a strategy to exhaust our intellectual minds in order to create a space for privatization. And since there's never been a coherent strategy to respond to this issue, that issue seems to be taken root because they haven't really resolved it. And secondly, Ramaphosa is also sidestepped by the global power. Western countries are saying get rid of coals, but they themselves depend on coals, which means that the independence of South Africa in the global stage is also connected to our response to the energy crisis. If we don't liberate ourselves to the clutches of global power, it means that load shedding is going to continue. And these elites are not directly affected because they can use other means of energy, other means of keeping the lights on. But the majority of South Africans are going to remain in poverty because the ANC has failed. And we can see that there is any concrete plan in terms of developing a clear policy, in terms of implementing such a policy to resolve the energy crisis.
Another thing that South Africans are obviously anxious about and wanting to know more of is the cabinet reshuffle, which has been long time coming. Who do you think is likely to go and has to go? And following, of course, the swearing in of those 4 ANC MPs in Parliament, who do you think will likely come in?
I think the center of the cabinet reshuffle should be between Pravin Gordhan and Gwede Mantashe. But those are Ramaphosa's loyalists. We will see them keeping those positions, because if there was any cabinet reshuffle that is interested in cabinet efficiency and developing this country, those 2 ministers, one of them should have fallen with the persistent nature of energy crisis. But the cabinet reshuffle that Ramaphosa intends to effect, if there's any, is only going to be for factional reasons, to reward people such as Paul Mashatile, because we have seen the resignation of the deputy president. So it's only going to be for ensuring continuity of government. And continuity of government means that we're going to see the same people being moved around. But the issue, the white elephant of energy crisis, is still going to be a problem, because we don't think that Ramaphosa has actually diagnosed this problem at a production level where the cost is, because we continue to roll out energy in South Africa, but there's never been a diagnosis how much do we produce and how much does business need in terms of electricity in South Africa, and how can we redistribute the rest of electricity to among citizens. That diagnosis, it's not there. We are only being told about how many liters of diesel do we burn a day, but the fundamental issues that are about the production of energy, they are absent in this government discourse, which means that load shedding is going to be with us if the ANC continues to be in government.
Now, just going back to the State of the Nation address, given the state of our nation as it relates to unemployment, rolling blackouts that have literally shut down small businesses, many people are saying that the spend of the State of the Nation, which is pegged at around 8 million rand, is wastage. Do you think leaders in this country have become tone deaf?
They have actually become deaf, because if majority of people are unemployed, and it doesn't occur to them that maybe they need to reduce some of the costs. Maybe reducing costs could mean reducing the cost of running a ceremonial event such as State of the Nation address. If that doesn't occur to them that maybe we need to act with agency, maybe they are not well vested with the issues that affect people on a daily basis. But that is the nature of the political class in South Africa. They've been closely interlinked with white capital, and everything that they do because of policy making that is nudged towards neoliberalism, everything is about making sure that big business can succeed. Nothing about the majority of poor South Africans who are languishing in poverty and unemployment. So for them, we have a problem of political careerism, in which majority of leaders in government are there to advance their personal ambitions of getting government benefits, of being just leaders of the ANC or leaders in government. But since 1994, there has never been an attempt by the ANC to deal with fundamental issues of inequality. All we see is parodic policies that are nudged towards full-blown neoliberalism. There's never been an attempt to say, but we've been doing the same thing since 1994. What can we do in order to deal with issues of unemployment? If you see, the curve of unemployment started in the early 2000s and has been going up since then, which means that these people are not interested in dealing with with unemployment beyond just redistributing what SARS can be able to accumulate and collect. So if the money that is collected by SARS doesn't deal with the fundamental needs of this country, which means the country is on the verge of collapse.
Dr. Makgoba, thank you so much for your time and your analysis this afternoon. Really do appreciate it. Dr. Metji Makgoba, the political analyst, of course, saying that the energy crisis will dominate the president's SONA address on Thursday.